Here now comes the reigning world champion. That's him right there in the Gaines Markley entry. His name is Rob Bruin, and he's from nearby in Federal Way, Washington. He won it all in 1979, but has not raced that much this year, and is not in the top 10. But boy, would he like a victory in front of his hometown fans right here at Seattle International Raceway in Kent. Now, there's some problems all of a sudden with Bruin's car, but here's the man he will face, and this is the guy who has set the pace the past few months as far as elapsed times are concerned, Marvin Graham of Oklahoma City. Graham recorded the quickest time in about 5 years just a few weeks ago in Indianapolis at 5.68 seconds. Okay, Rob Bruin, even though they had a problem, whatever it was, they got it repaired. Now Bruin will have to hustle, get in there, get his burnout accomplished, and get back to the starting line without inconveniencing Marvin Graham. If he should take too long, the starter would be well within his rights to go ahead and stage Marvin Graham and send him down the racetrack on a single run. Graham recently won the NHRA Grand National in Montreal, Canada. Was one of the top qualifiers at the U.S. Nationals a few weeks ago with that 5.68 that we talked about. Rob Bruin has consistently the best reflexes of just about any driver in Top Fuel. Wins many, many events, even with slower elapsed times. The cars are independently timed, near lane and far lane. The finish line judge is also a computer, an electronic finish line judge. You can see right now that it would be very difficult to call some of these races with the human eye. Both of them using late model hemispherical drag racing engines. Fuel injector on top, supercharger next, then the racing engine itself. It's just impossible for ESPN cameras and recorders to capture the sound of these machines. It's just something you have to witness in person to even believe. They shake the ground. Near lane, the reigning world champion Rob Bruin's far lane. Number 4 in national points, Marvin Graham, driving for Mark Danicus out of Oklahoma City. Graham left the stage, they're ready. And it looked like Rob Bruin may have been away first. Marvin Graham and Rob Bruin side by side, down 1,320 feet. It is the far lane. It is Marvin Graham at a 5.79 second elapsed time. That'll be very close to low ET of the event. Even though Bruin may have had a slight edge, Marvin Graham's car launched a good deal harder, and he just drives away from this point, 244 miles an hour. It's a 6.00 elapsed time for Rob Bruin at 234. That is the second 5.79 elapsed time recorded at this event. The other by Canadian Terry Kapp, who we'll be seeing in our next race. Kapp will be meeting Connie Kalita. They call him the Bounter Hunter out of Ypsilanti, Michigan. And here is Terry Kapp, who is now tied with Marvin Graham for low elapsed time of this event at 5.79. Just a few weeks ago, Terry Kapp of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada came really out of the middle of the pack. Had never even been in a final round of an important championship and won the granddaddy of all big drag races, the U.S. Nationals of Indianapolis, Indiana. So Kapp suddenly is highly respected by everybody in the pit. His peers looking on in awe as Kapp runs those 570s consistently. The car, relatively new, as of yet unpainted. Kalita with a beautiful golden red car. Now, Kalita's reverser has failed. He has no reverse gear in the car. Now, the rules say you must have a reverser. You can hand push it back if you can get it back in time, but it looks like Kalita is done. Either the engine lost fire or the reverser failed, and what a break for Terry Kapp. Not that he needs them. Now, Terry Kapp will have a single run. Will he take it easy and save his parts and pieces, or will he go all out to have lane choice over his opponent in the next round? The quicker of the winners from this round has lane choice in the next round, and that can sometimes be critical, should there be an oil down or traction change for whatever reason. So let's see what Terry Kapp elects to do. He could just idle down this racetrack, take the win light, and come back for the semis, or will he go all out? He's going all out into a huge wheel stand. When the front end comes down, the supercharger blows right off the top of the engine. That was the supercharger and the injector you see bouncing down the racetrack. Now, Kapp will still get the victory here, but what a thrash he's going to have in the pit area trying to come back for the semifinals. The traction here at Seattle International Raceway is just incredible. The starting line like flypaper. Now, Kapp pulls off in the grass in case he is leaking any oil. He does not want to mess up the racetrack for his fellow racers or even himself later on. So Terry Kapp, still with his helmet on, relieves the water pressure in the engine, and it is minus about $3,000 worth of parts blown right off the top of the engine. Okay, let's look at it again. Terry Kapp, instantly the front end comes up in the air. He hopes it'll settle down, but it doesn't. As he lifts off of the accelerator, the front end comes down, and boom! Off comes the supercharger, fortunately missing Terry as it actually passed him up, as you can see. Terry must be seeing it right now, saying, "Stay away from me." That's about 225 pounds of magnesium and aluminum. Taking divots out of the racetrack, you see the raw fuel coming out of the fuel lines as the supercharger tumbles along behind him. And Terry kept very fortunate he did not have a bad fire, which could have burned the parachute off and even made it more expensive and time-consuming. So can Terry Kapp make it back? Does he have the parts? Does he have the time? NHRA Championship Drag Racing will continue from Seattle, Washington after this message. Breed in all of NHRA drag racing, they call them funny cars. There's nothing funny about a $100,000 race car capable of 240-mile-an-hour speeds, though. And here is Tom the Mongoose McEwen of Fountain Valley, California. McEwen in the far lane will be up against the reigning world champion and the current points leader, looking to make it 2 in a row, Raymond Beadle in the popular Blue Max out of Dallas, Texas. The number 1 on his car, designating him as world champion. Now, Beadle has a very narrow lead over a fellow Texan, Billy Meyer, whom we'll be seeing later in this round. It's much like Jeb Allen and Gary Beck. The World Championship could be decided here, or they could go to the final race of the year in an absolute deadlock. The Blue Max with a Plymouth Horizon body over a supercharged nitro-burning engine, much like the Top Fuel dragsters use, but in front of the driver, making it far more dangerous. These cars weigh about 1,800 pounds. They use a 2-speed transmission. Kind of like an overdrive. There's no clutch pedal to be pressed. You simply push a button and it shifts hydraulically. Now, Beadle qualified with a 6:10. He disposed of local driver Hank Johnson in the first round with a 6:19. Tom McEwen qualified at a 6:23, recorded a 6:24 in round 1 to beat Alaskan Jim Moore. So that's how they set up here in the quarterfinals. McEwen against this car, the Blue Max. Many think the most powerful drag racing vehicle ever built. They're staged and ready. And it's Raymond Beadle and Tom McEwen. McEwen with an early lead, but Beadle drives right around as something goes wrong with McEwen's car. And it is Raymond Beadle at 6.28 seconds for the quarter mile, 231.95 miles an hour, and dejected Tom McEwen coasting his Corvette down the course. It appeared that McEwen had an awfully good chance here. When the front end dances like that, it means they're hooked up beautifully, not wasting any traction at all. Beadle appears to pull alongside, and then McEwen, apparently the transmission giving way, something in the drivetrain, and just could not get the power to the differential. So here is the Blue Max advancing into the semifinal round. And back at the starting line, the number 1 funny car racer in most people's minds the sport has ever known. Certainly the winningest drag racer in NHRA competition, regardless of category. In this heat, we'll be seeing Don the Snake Prudhomme, who we just talked about, up against this young gentleman from Long Beach, California. His name is Tom Riding, driving the Joe Paisano Plymouth Arrow. He was runner-up just a few weeks ago at the U.S. Nationals, his greatest ever performance, and here is the Snake, the Army Dodge Omni 4-time world champion. Until Raymond Beadle in the Blue Max came along last year, Don Prudhomme owned the drag racing funny car category. And he knows that he has not got an easy one here in the quarterfinals. You might have said that a few months ago, but this car has suddenly risen to the occasion with consistent 6.0 elapsed time. Tom Ridings, a college student and part-time race car driver, pays his tuition driving a drag racing funny car, and here comes Don Prudhomme. A new car for 1980 for the Snake. He is the national record holder at 5.92 seconds. Prudhomme has been having his problems this season, no secret about that. But even trouble-plagued as he has still won 2 national events on the circuit of 10. This is the 9th event so far in 1980. Prudhomme in round number 1 recorded a very nice 6.07 to beat John Collins of Long Beach, California. He qualified at a 6.09. Now, Tom Ridings ran a quicker 6.05 in round 1, so has lane choice over Don Prudhomme and has selected the near lane. Remember, it's the quicker of the 2 cars in the preceding round who has lane choice. Both lanes appear to be equal now. Ridings is ready. Prudhomme inches in. He's ready. We can have a start anytime. There it is. Don Prudhomme and Tom Ridings. And Ridings suddenly with a fire underneath his car. Tom Ridings hits the onboard fire extinguisher system and knocks the fire out. As we said earlier, that's the biggest peril in funny car racing, fire. That's why they're forced to carry onboard fire extinguisher systems. As soon as Ridings felt his seat getting hot, he hit a button with his gloved hand, activated the system, and now he comes out of the escape hatch. And I think he's got a warm seat in that 5-layer fire suit. The NHRA Safety Safari team on hand instantly, as they always are. They'll get the body up, make sure the fire is completely out. Now, Don Prudhomme runs a very nice 6.08, displaying some good consistency at 238 miles an hour. Here we see it again. Everything appears to be fine for Ridings. He is wheel to wheel with Don Prudhomme. Suddenly he drops back. And here you see the fire, apparently connecting rod punching a hole in the oil pan on the side of the block, and that's oil burning behind the car. Generally, you see these kind of fires in the finish line area, where they're even more dangerous. Seldom do you see one this close to the starting line. Tom Ridings is A-OK. He got on the bottles quickly, as a good driver will. And there you see him picking up his gear to load up, head back to California, and prepare for the final race of the season.
The next race in this quarterfinal round of funny car competition will pit number 2 in the world right now, as far as World Championship points are concerned, Billy Meyer up against Gordy Bonin. Bonin from BC, British Columbia, not
Far from here, and has a lot of local fans rooting for him. Meyer out of Waco, Texas. Billy Meyer will be in the near lane. Gordy Bonin in the far lane. Bonin won 3 national events last year, more than any other driver, including the U.S. Nationals, and he is officially the fastest funny car in the world at 245 miles an hour. The fuel injector on top, the can in the crewman's hand being used to prime the injector. Squirt a little fuel in there, spin the engine over with the electric starter. When the engine catches and runs on its own, the starter comes off as the body latches down. The engine comes to life for Billy Meyer. Crew Chief Mike Duga removes the starter, checks things over. The sticks will come out from under the front of the body. It's a Chevy Citation fiberglass replica from the Hawaiian Tropic sponsored machine of young Billy Meyer. When Meyer was only 19, he held the NHRA national record. He's 25 now, number 4 in the world last year. You see the number on the side of his car indicating his standings in 79. He is number 2 right now. But as you saw earlier, Raymond Beadle survived this second round. Billy Meyer must do likewise just to keep pace with the Blue Max. Wheelie bars at the rear of the car. Should the front end come up too high, those wheelie bars will force it back down again and hopefully keep the car from going over backwards. A tremendous crowd here at Seattle International Raceway, really enjoying the action. You could go to 10 drag races and not see as many wheel stands, crashes, explosions, and fires as we are here in Seattle this weekend. It's incredible. And fortunately, all of it non-injury. That's the most important part. Gordy Bonin, a heavy favorite with the fans, moving up in the far lane. Young, handsome Billy Meyer in the tower lane. His father, Paul J. Meyer, literally founded the self-improvement industry, Success Motivation Institute, very famous individual worldwide. Billy, a professional drag racer. You just never know what your sons are going to do when they grow up. Billy Meyer here in the tower lane. Gordy Bonin, far lane. Both of these cars hauled from race to race in giant 18-wheelers, literally mobile garages. Now it's a must-win situation for Meyer if he's to stay in the hunt for the World Championship. Meyer is ready. Bonin still inching forward. He's ready. They leave together, wheel to wheel. Billy Meyer suddenly takes Meyer with a 6.32 at 224 miles an hour. That is not quick enough to get lane choice over his next round opponent, Don the Snake Prudhomme, who ran 6.08. Let's take a look here and see where Bonin's car literally got out of control. Appears to be going straight. Meyer right with him, and suddenly the car darts to the left. And once he crosses that line, he is disqualified. Bonin doing a great job of recovery there. Tries to get back into the hunt, but he sees it's useless. Billy Meyer is long gone. One race remaining. Here in the quarterfinals, Billy Meyer crossing the finish line, earning more of those valuable points. Here is Nick Harmon. You talk about an underdog coming into this event. Harmon from Oregon had never qualified for a national event, let alone gone to the second round. In the far lane will be his opponent, a car based out of Pennsylvania. Dale Armstrong, the driver. Dale originally from Calgary, Canada, now out of Southern California. So east meets west, the driver from the west, the car from the east. Armstrong was the dominant force in one of these sportsman categories called Pro Comp, the winningest driver ever there, and all of the racers in Funny Car hoped he never graduated into their class, but he has, and he is tough. Number 4 in the world right now in his first year as a AA fuel funny car racer. That's the speed racer we're talking about. Mike Case owns it. Dale Armstrong drives it. Now, Nick Harmon, he's got to be grinning in there. Win or lose